CJ, and this is Spindle City Commentary. You know, it's been a while since I've done a commentary, and I'm sitting here in the control room, and I'm debating what we should talk about. Well, today's the 21st, on Monday, and tomorrow is September 22nd, a primary day here in Fall River. And the primary election this time out is going to be to select a new mayor and a new city council. We've had two debates last week which were rather informative, and they were very different for the majority of people in Fall River because they were basically true debates. They were attacks from the opponents against the incumbent. And that's not a bad thing. But we have to be sure that we look at what every single one of these incumbents stand for. We have to look at what every single one of these candidates stand for. Now, with an incumbent, it's a little easier because you can tell by their votes. Fall River's problem is they expect everything to happen overnight. If you expect Fall River to be clean and green and all problems solved after the general election in November, on November 4th, after the election on the 3rd, you're living in a fantasy world. You, the voter, have created this financial debacle that we're in because you sold your vote for a favor or a chow mein sandwich, or now this year, Coney Island hot dogs. And that's kind of sad. You know, we have 9 city councilors, one who you can kind of give a dismissal to a little bit because he kind of came in at the end of this term. And every one of them have voted for everything we have, for fees, for tax increases, for bonds. And even though the people said, we don't want it, they said, who are you? We don't care. One of those city councilors is now running for mayor. And when he lost his initial bid for the city council, he came out speaking very clearly in support of a now recalled Mayor Flanagan. And everything that mayor proposed to the city council when he was appointed after Kathy Ann Rivera sold out her seat for the city administrator's job and sold out her supporters, he supported every single thing that Flanagan put forward. Never fought on anything. Is that what you want for a mayor? Now, granted, a lot of you say, well, he's better than Sam Sutter. Well, you know, that is your opinion, and that very well may be true. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm telling you to look at what they've all done. Okay? I know there's not a lot of other selections out there, but you know what? We have to do what's necessary. And people don't understand that. And until they do understand it, they're not going to know what needs to happen. Fall River is at a trying time right now. On December 16th of 2014, Fall River, on the anniversary of the Boston Tea Party, started what was then considered to be the start of a revolution. That revolution kind of hit a couple of bumps along the way after December 16th. And nobody can understand why. Well, I can tell you why. It hit those bumps for the same reasons that politics in Fall River is the way it is. It's because you, the voter, personalize. I've seen it throughout this election season so far. I've seen it for decades in Fall River. Well, you have to vote for him because I had a pothole and he got it fixed. I had a problem, he got it fixed. I had a problem, she got my trash picked up. They didn't pick it up for 2 weeks. I called her, they picked it up. So you're going to sell your soul, you're going to sell your city out because a city council made a phone call to a department head to have your trash picked up, or have a pothole filled, or have your water, which was kind of rusty, flushed out at the fire hydrant because she made the phone call or he made the phone call. Guess what? You have a voice, You have a finger, you can dial the numbers, and you can call and speak to those department heads. And then you don't have to call a city councilor. Oh, that's right, you don't want to wait. If you call, DCM may not pick up your trash today, they may pick it up tomorrow. You want it picked up today because it's all about you. You know what? It's not all about you. It's not all about any one person in this city. It's about everyone. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and more especially the needs of the one. That's a comment from a movie. And you know, it's so true. Everyone in Fall River does everything for themselves. You have landlords who are reaching out and taking as many rent subsidies as they can possibly grab onto because they can't get the rent that they want, but they can get some of it from the rent subsidies. Guess what? You want that rent? Raise your rent. Don't take the rent subsidies. You are guilty of bringing in more low-income people who have no jobs, who have no spendable cash, and no disposable income. And as long as we have a community that has no disposable income, we will be a welfare city. This is what your elected officials want to keep. They want to keep the people of Fall River poor, dumb, and undeserving. That's a Nazi-esque tactic. And that's what they're doing. And why are they doing it? Because it works. It works. Napoleon said it very clearly. There are only two levers which move man. Okay? One of them is self-preservation. You know, we live in a society where everyone's talking about, oh, we need to help the poor, we need to help the downtrodden, we need to help the addicts, we've got to stop this opiate addiction problem. You know, those are all great platitudes. They're wonderful things to say. They're wonderful things to believe in. But somebody's got to pay for it. Do you believe that you should pay because somebody chose to use heroin? Do you believe you should pay because somebody chose to abuse Percocet or Vicodin? Do you believe that you should pay to provide a now increasing cost medication called Narcan to save these lives? I'm not saying we should let everyone overdose and die. But go ask your EMS personnel. Go ask hospitals. Go ask nurses. Ask doctors how many times they've administered that life-saving drug Narcan to an opiate-addicted person who's overdosed on heroin. And they come around and they scream, rant, and rave about, you effed up my high. I can't stoned all day. And they storm away. Or they assault them and they storm away. People wonder why nobody wants to help the addicts anymore. This is why. They're looking at getting millions and billions of dollars to expand a program in Massachusetts where people are sentenced from all over the state for treatment. That's right, sentenced. You go in front of a judge in Marblehead and you're a drug addict and you've been found guilty of dealing drugs and using drugs and drug possession, and the judge says, John Smith, you're sentenced to 30 days to Fall River, to this treatment facility. And then the treatment facility, at the end of the 30 days, puts them out the front door with no support. They have no way to get back to Marblehead. Plus they don't want to because, wait a minute, there's plenty of methadone clinics in Fall River. And they end up staying here, increasing the burden on the city taxpayer. Now I know this is not going to be a well-liked commentary. I know that people are going to be very upset about it. But it is not the position of the government, nor has it ever been, to rescue people who choose, that's the key, choose to be addicted to opiates. That's a choice. You were not born with a needle stuck in your arm. You were not born with a blood level of heroin in your bloodstream. You made that conscious decision. Now, if we look back in history, in the 70s, for instance, the 60s and the 70s, drugs were a very prevalent part of our society. Nobody went for treatment. Nobody went for drug addiction. Nobody's dumping money into it. Drug addiction is a symptom of the problems we have in Fall River. Okay? Very easy solution in Fall River to solve a lot of this opiate problem. Not that it's going to go away, but where you can minimize what we have. Do away with the majority of the rent subsidies. Do away with some of the low-income housing. Have the landlords raise their rents to an area that people are not going to be able to come here unless they have a job. It's going to hurt. We're all going to take a hit for a little bit. But you know what? You will find that if we cut down by 10% the number of rental subsidies, being Section 8, home choice, home base, etc., etc., those people will migrate to another community. And they won't stay here, thereby reducing crime, reducing drug problems, and increasing the availability of apartments or living accommodations for people who work. As crime and drug problems go down, profitability and development goes up. And we can do that. 37% of the population in Fall River owns the property. 37%, that's all. 63% are renters. And you have a huge percentage of those that are on a rental subsidy. Now, some people need it. I'm not saying we take away the rental subsidies for seniors or for physically disabled people. But when you look at stories like people who have been on the welfare system for 12 years, 20 years, and they say, why should I get a job? I have everything I want. This creates a problem. Entitlements are a problem. And Fall River has jumped on the entitlement bandwagon, not only for the population, but for the city. And you're guilty of that, you the voter. Because again, you sold your vote, your city for a chow mein sandwich, or this year, a Coney Island hot dog. If 50% of the registered voters in Fall River, 50%, that's a little over 23,000 people, went out and voted tomorrow, Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015, you would then show the people of Fall River, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State House, that the government is ours. But we're excited about 16 or 17% coming out to vote. That's poor. That's unacceptable. And that is why we need to make sure that we stop the insanity, that we stop the questionable behavior of our voters, of our people, and what happens here in Fall River. Because you know what? We need to be sure that people understand that what we say counts. A petition was started over the weekend. It's called a Petition for Action, that has started to now make the rounds on Facebook, and it is available on the internet on change.org. And it calls on our governor, our lieutenant governor, our attorney general, our great and general court of the Commonwealth to look at what the people of Fall River have been calling out for a long time. Accountability, transparency. They want a full investigation. They want people to be finally charged criminally for their actions. Will it happen? Are you going to be part of the solution or part of the problem? Tomorrow's vote will show. The number of people who come out to vote on Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015, in the primary election is going to speak volumes to the elected officials, the people of this city, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Because if you think you getting 16, 17, or 20% of the vote out is a good thing, they laugh at you. That's poor. I want to see 100%, but that's unrealistic. But 50, 60, or 70%, that should be easily done. It takes you 5 minutes out of your day to go to the polls and cast your ballot. If you or your friends have alligator mouths and they're connected to canary asses, you're useless. Your opinion counts to those that hear it. Maybe. Your opinion counts to you. But the people who count don't hear it because you and those like you do not get out and make it happen. So tomorrow, September 22nd, let's start a true revolution in Fall River. Let's show them that the people control this government and not the elected officials. Let's show them that your hot dog or your chow mein sandwich isn't going to buy my vote and is not going to buy what I want or need. With that, I'm CJ Ferry, and thank you. And remember, go out and vote tomorrow. Have a great day.